Today on TimesCast, labor strikes and more protests across Egypt.
They said yesterday, you know what, we've got 100,000 or so here. We'll take a few thousand and we'll send them over to the Parliament building.
A gathering in Tahrir Square honors those killed in recent unrest and violence. And a rare tour of Pixar's studios.
This is David Kirkpatrick from the New York Times in Cairo. The news today is that the protest movement calling for the ouster of President Hosni Mubarak seems to have retaken the initiative. We saw three things happening today. The first is the protesters who've been camped out in the central Tahrir Square show that they can move beyond the square. They said yesterday, you know what, we're going to take a few thousand of our number. We've got 100,000 or so here. We'll take a few thousand and we'll send them over to the Parliament building. They went over there, they demonstrated for hours, they camped out, and they're still there, and no one can get in or out of the Parliament building. So the protesters feel that they can effectively move wherever they want around the city and shut down whichever streets they like. And that's the first thing that happened. The second thing is labor strikes. We'd heard protesters before talking about trying to get the workers to come and join them, and I thought, oh my gosh, that's just a load of socialist cant. But you know what? They actually got some of the workers out. Today and yesterday night, that started to happen. You saw workers, 6,000 workers in Suez who work around the canal, holding a sit-down strike, textile workers rising up around the country. Here in Cairo, there were sporadic strikes by telephone workers, electrical workers, and the most interesting thing to me that happened today was at the state-run newspaper, Al-Ahram. There, the journalists rose up. The young journalists rose up first, and the older ones followed, and they said, you know what, we'd like to have more of a voice. We'd like to have some more money, but we'd also like to have more of a voice in how this newspaper is run. We're tired of the propaganda. And you've already begun to see a shift in the coverage in the flagship organ of the state media. Last week, they were talking about millions rally in support of Mubarak, even though that wasn't what we were seeing. Now they're using the word revolution, and some parts of it, including the English language website, practically sound like a sort of organ of the revolution. They're openly criticizing the way that they themselves, the state-run media, have portrayed this in the past. Some of the journalists here at Al-Ahram are saying that what's happening here at their newspaper is actually a microcosm for what's happening around Egypt. It's certainly a sign that we don't know yet how this revolt or uprising or whatever it is going to play out.
On Wednesday night, a candlelight vigil in Tahrir Square honored those killed in recent unrest.
The protesters carrying on these vigils are holding them for a number of different reasons. The first purpose is to memorialize what people are calling the martyrs of the recent unrest here in Egypt. That's related to the over 300 people who've died in recent weeks during anti-government protests. We're also seeing people here to commemorate the dead from earlier violence here in Egypt, namely the bombing of the Coptic church in the northern city of Alexandria in early January. Within these groups, we've seen candles arranged in a pattern spelling out the word in Arabic "Erhal," which means to go, in reference to their calls to Mubarak to step down. The number of people here tonight, numbering in the thousands, are significant as they have been in the past few days, as the protesters here in Tahrir continue their steadfast plan to remain here until serious changes are made from the government.
And Pixar's Toy Story 3 is up for Best Picture at this year's Academy Awards. Milena Rysick tours the studio.
I've been excited about this all season long. I'm here at Pixar's campus just outside of San Francisco to get a rare behind-the-scenes look at the studio, which has dominated the animation category at the Oscars for the last couple of years. This year, of course, they've got Toy Story 3. We're going to talk to some of the filmmakers about what it was like to work on the series that put digital animation on the map.
What's your name again?
Milena.
Milena, Bobby.
Yeah,
nice to meet you.
Pixar is about as cool a place to work as anyone can imagine, and they don't let too many people in behind the scenes.
We do every single thing here on this campus. Every single thing was designed, modeled, built, shot. Like any other film, only we do ours virtually, but we use the exact same tools, just within the computer.
Our job is to try to create a cohesive performance. We will go through and shape for every frame and every syllable. His upper chest, his torso, his body, his left arm, his right arm. Eyelids and eyebrows, there's mouth. Actually, this is all his mouth, from the subtleness of, how the lip might pull up in the middle. So we'll cast animators according to their sensibilities, just like actors. Some are really good at, comedy, or some are really good at like sensitive moments or things that are a little quieter or more dramatic.
No, it's my fault for leaving you guys. From now on, we stick together.
So we heard there's something special about this office.
To see more of what's behind the doors at Pixar, check out the Carpetbagger blog tonight for the full video.